It's Elk Week here at Born and Raised. Oh, yeah! We got new videos dropping every single day, 4 p.m. We've got calling, we've got gear dumps, shot angles, do's and don'ts of elk hunting, and the best elk hunting video, 20 kills in 20 minutes.
Can you believe that?
Insane giveaways. If you missed a video, go check out the Elk Week playlist and get caught up. Make sure you're entered for all the giveaways. We've got tons of gear. We're announcing the winner every single day.
This is why we came to Wyoming, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out this series that we're doing. If you were to ask me, like, what is the top technique to try to close the distance on an elk, not necessarily close the distance, but like try to find an elk first, I would say a couple of things. Number one, after daylight, in the middle of the night, dark, either at night or early in the morning before daylight, elk are more responsive. It seems like they feel safer and they're more vocal. They don't have their eyesight to help them as much, and so they communicate with bugling, cow calling more often. And so I think that's one little hack you could use to try to find elk. Try to bugle at night to locate them. Get your onX out, pinpoint where you think that location is, and just keep moving. And then daylight hits, maybe you have 2 or 3 spots where you might be able to move in and find an elk. If you screw it up, you know you have another one in your pocket over here. That would be one. Another one is when you're doing that, we kind of throw the kitchen sink out to try to get a response. So we may start with a cow call, one single cow call, yeah, and wait 10 seconds. No response, we may go to more of an estrus cow call, meow, and then from there, location bugle, just a cut it off. Just a real simple 2-3 notes and cut it off. And then from there, you'll go into a bugle with a chuckle. And basically we move through a series of calls using our mouth reeds, kind of quieter, and then get louder with our external cow calls, and finally our bugle tube. And we kind of step through that process. If you don't get a response, move on. Kind of follow that playbook and just do it every time. Don't get discouraged, and it's gonna work. If you're in the right spot where there's elk, it's gonna work. Good luck this season.
I guess I'm giving tips and tactics for a guy that works 40 plus hours a week out of the group. Would be, you know, every minute you can get, spend it in the woods. You need to be out there, you need to be looking for the elk, trying to locate the elk, find them, and do whatever. So it's, you know, every night after work, you know, every weekend that you can get out there, those are days and evenings that you need to spend in the woods, and that's going to up your opportunities to harvest an elk. So that would be my tips and tactics for a full-time employee.
I think one of the big, let's say maybe a mistake, but also a positive thing too, is we talk about always trying to find elk. We always talk about finding elk is probably 90% of the battle. Then after that, after we find them, then we can kind of be methodical with them and try to get into where we can actually shoot one. But finding elk is the toughest part. That's why every time that we're out there, we're just hiking, a lot of times in big circles, just trying to cover ground to find an elk. We may pass by 2, 3, 4, we have no idea, that aren't bugling, that aren't playing our game to go find an elk. So when we do find elk, we try to stay on those elk. So a lot of times you'll bump them, sometimes they'll smell you or something, go down to the next draw. Make sure you kind of realize where they go. That way you can possibly get on them again, the direction that they're headed. Or if you just, you know, that's where they're going anyway, you're gonna be following them anyway. The flip side to this is do not stay in an area. I get this all the time in like emails, like, man, I was hunting an area and it looked so good on the map and everything. I got in there, I hunted for 10 days, I never saw an elk. It's like, guys, we don't have very long in season to actually hunt these things. So maximize your time. If you go into an area and you're making, like I was talking about, like a big loop, and no matter how long it is, sometimes we go up to 12 miles in a day looking for elk. You make that loop and you don't find anything, move. Don't go, well, tomorrow they're gonna be there, and go on the same exact loop, maybe the next day, and go on the same exact loop. That being said too, don't try to gain your knowledge from last year. Last year they were wallowing right here. They were just stuffed in here, and I'm just gonna stay here until they get here. Well, you may stay there your whole season and you may not get an opportunity to even see one. So it goes both ways. Don't leave elk to find elk once you're on them, but the flip side to that is once you can't find them, move, go. That's why we always say have like 3 different locations, spots, wherever that you can hit in different parts of maybe the state that you're hunting, maybe the unit that you're hunting, however you have it set up with your trip. Have at least 3 spots so you can bounce out of that spot and go find a new spot.
So one thing over the years I hear a lot of people ask, I don't want to sound like too big of a bull, and I would disagree with that statement 100% when calling elk. I think you want to be as realistic as possible. And you're chasing a big old bull, he's got a bunch of cows, you want to sound like another bull is going to come in and challenge that. So the biggest thing when you're practicing your calls, don't just do the fluty tooty small bull, rag bull type bugle. Really get versed in calling and getting a lip ball, getting emotion into that call, getting loud. There's, as much as you think, you cannot be as loud as what a bull is. So sounding as loud and as big and intimidating as possible is one tactic that you want to stick to. So here's a few sounds that I would try to perfect. One is going to be the lip ball. Number 2 is going to be chuckles. Those kind of separate the men from the boys when it comes to calling elk. So lip ball, pretty simple. You're going to purse your lips when you're calling. So when you get that emotion behind it, you're going to bugle, lip ball, and chuckle. So don't be afraid to sound like a big bull in the mountain. Give it all you got. Practice before September, and yeah, have fun with it.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the shot. We're gonna talk about the moment of truth. We're gonna talk about the ride the lightning. We're gonna talk about when you've prepared all your ounces of effort into this one moment. Think about that. Like, I want to shoot an elk. I want to go out west and shoot an elk, or I live out west already and I just want to go harvest an elk for my family. I'm going to have that one shot opportunity, and it's going to come down to that. And you need to take as much as you can out of that goes through your brain at the time. And what I mean by that is there's only a few things that you actually need to do at that moment of truth. So all the rest should already be done. All the rest with your bow grip should already be done in practice. All your rest with your anchor point should already be done in practice. All your rest with everything where your feet position are, that should already be done in practice. All these things, yardages, I should have 4 different yardages already ranged out before I even start my sequence of calling, to where it's like, that's already in my head too. So all I'm doing in that moment of truth is drawing my bow, picking a spot on that animal, and clean release, and shooting that elk, and making that memory. So what leads up to that is just the small things that's going to make this thing actually pay off the biggest. So the feet, I'm not normally wearing Nike or Hoka's on this, but when I do, anyway, your feet, it's a big thing. Get to a spot and you're going to go try to find the shade right off the bat, where I found, this is my yard, so obviously we're not in a hunting scenario, or else I'd have my face painted, but so I'm going to go in front of a tree, in front of limbs, in front of a lot of stuff. I'm not going to have a spot where I'm hitting anything, a limb, when I draw my bow. I'm going to clean out my feet. I'm going to clean the ground, make it actually almost down to bare earth is what I like to do. That way I'm not making any noise if I have to pivot. No matter what direction he comes in on, I can actually make that move to make that shot. All of these things are done for me before the elk even gets there. So everything is in my favor. Put as many things in your favor that you can on the way to shooting that elk. We've already talked about the setup. We've talked about getting in front of something. We've talked about getting in the shade. Elk can really pick out things in the direct sunlight. So find a shady spot, find some shooting lanes, clear those things out. Already get your bow grip. Have your bow gripped. Have your release on your string already. Everything's already ranged, and so when that bull comes in, you already have it in your mind that I am going to shoot this thing. You have to put your mind in that mode of I am going to harvest this animal. You can't be like, man, I hope I get a shot. You can't have your mind frame of, man, it's not gonna probably work out, but man, I can share this, with my buddies. No, you need to, in your mind, it needs to be, I'm going to harvest this elk. This is going to happen. All these positive things need to be running through your mind as this whole thing is transpiring. So, got our feet, we got our position, we're not gonna hit anything, and all we're doing is anchoring, picking a spot on that elk, and shooting that arrow, and then making that memory with whoever's around. So anyway, good luck this season, and I hope take this one to heart, because this is a big one for a lot of people, because it comes down to this spot right here. This is what makes or breaks the whole situation.
So one thing during season, what happens everyone shoots their bow every single day, all summer long. Then season comes and they're hiking along, and they might be day 6. They haven't shot their bow. They haven't looked at their bow. They're trekking along. A lot of things can go wrong when you're just hiking along. So I'd recommend doing a daily equipment check. So very first thing in the morning, get out of the tent, put an arrow on, set it all up, and draw your bow. Making sure your rest comes up, or if it's in place, it goes down. Checking your sight, checking your strings. So very first thing every morning, checking that string loop. Just go back, go through the whole shot sequence. Even if you don't have a judo point, I would recommend carrying a judo point or a field point or a broadhead that you feel comfortable shooting, that you can shoot into a rotten stump or dirt bank. I like shooting my bow every day during season, but just make sure everything's good. Teeps turn good, see your sights, all that. Just draw back, let her down. You don't want mistakes to happen, and it can compound real quick if your arrow rest doesn't come up. But the other thing too, I would mark your cams. You got good timing, take a silver Sharpie, mark your cams for timing. Check your sight, make sure you're set on your yardage that you want to be set on. If the last time you shot your bow is 80 yards, you don't want a bull to come in at 20 yards and you have your sight set at 80. So just go through that whole process every single day, check your equipment, make sure it's ready to go. I think the one thing that we've all talked about, and I think this is not the last, but it is probably the #1 thing when you go into the woods, don't get discouraged. It literally, things happen so fast. You can be spending all this time and all of a sudden one branch breaks to one call, and next thing you know, you're standing over your bull.
How many times have we been frustrated beyond belief, and it's just like 15 minutes later,
It's turned and
it's over.
Over. When it goes right, it's just like, that was so easy.
Our first year in 2007, when we first ever made a DVD and called it Tagged Out, we hunted for 20 days and didn't hear a bugle. On the 21st day, on a Monday, I believe, that evening after work, called in your bull, you shot it. And then that Friday, killed a bull. Saturday, killed a bull. Sunday, killed a bull. All 4 of us tagged out with Ty. And I mean, you can go 20 days without hearing a bugle, and then everything can change.
Yeah. So it only takes that one. So just keep your chin up, keep going at it. Don't give up. It'll happen.
And we're rolling.
Back. Little new scenery.
Background. Someone's actually using the place that we normally
Our
do.
content studio is under use. So here we are in the office. I missed out. I was pretty bummed. I didn't get on the uncut and get the whole shenanigan brother back and forth. I don't have that same, Hollywood appearance.
Oh, my brother. Just, we have a good time. We have a really, really good time. So starting off, guys, we wanted to just kind of show anybody that hasn't seen it, t-shirt.
Yeah, so we started a thing called Shirt of the Month. This is our July shirt. There's a few more days that you can get this shirt. Pretty sweet design. Limited, the only way you can get it's being part of the club. Cool thing, it's $21.99 a month, and it shows up to your doorstep automatically, but you're also entered into, tell them what they win, Rob.
Tell them what they've won. A whole blacktail hunt with us. So it'll be a 4 or 5 day blacktail. You hopefully will kill a blacktail. We've got some pretty good areas that we can go in and stuff, and so it'll be a 4-day hunt with us, and killing a blacktail, which are pretty, a lot of people want the blacktail on their list.
Yeah, so for every month that you're a part of that club, you get an entry. So if you join right now, you get 11 entries in on that hunt, and we'll draw next June. So hopefully you can come out with us October 2023.
Let's get to the giveaway. Woohoo! You guys were promised a Hoyt. It's not this bow, it's a Ventum Pro. It's even way nicer than this bow, but It's a Hoyt giveaway.
Yeah, Hoyt giveaway. So, drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. It's gonna go, if you're in Texas, stand up. If you're from Austin, Texas, stay standing. If your first name is Adam, keep standing. And if your last name is Gray, you just won a boat.
Oh, Austin, Texas.
Adam Gray from Austin, Texas. And Gray is spelled Gray. If there's a couple of variations out there, I don't know.
Good job, Adam. Stoked for you.
Yep. Happy for you. We're gonna do, just like in every uncut, like we used to, we're gonna do some shout outs and questions.
Yeah.
So you guys, it has been so awesome and so positive, the questions that we're getting on YouTube. It's just amazing, the community of hunters that have come together and just like helped each other out. Cause I'll see questions on there that's answered by another guy, like, hey, I did that. And
yeah, the positivity, the community that you guys are is hands down one of the best on YouTube. It's really cool to see.
Awesome. So you want me to, you start it out? Or?
Yeah, well, I got a shout out from Derek Hargraves to his dad, Chip Hargraves. So Chip has been one of those guys that paved the way for opportunities for Derek. You know, he's been bow hunting a long time, hasn't killed a lot in the last couple of years, and Derek like finally realized like it's because my dad was trying to get me the opportunities and get that fire lit. So I know Chip's going through a hard time, broke his wrist. Looks like he's got to sit out the season this year. So Chip, we're thinking about you. Hopefully you have a speedy recovery and you're back in the elk woods next year. But yeah, just a father-son, cool story, that's cool awesome. Relationship. So
that is awesome. Okay, Sean Ward. He says, first time me and my buddy are going to Colorado backcountry this year. What are the 3 tips for newbies that you would say for preparation, for going? Just throw a tip out there.
3 tips.
Yeah.
Always have a wind checker on you.
Okay. I would throw in safety. First time to Colorado. I don't know if you live in back east, Pennsylvania, wherever you live, as far as that goes, safety. So I would have Onyx on your, just to make sure you know where you're at, and then I would look into also like a somewhere or an inReach or something of that.
Or you could rent a satellite phone.
You can rent.
There's definitely some options there to get. I think that's a great deal. And third tip,
it's got to be mindset.
I think so. Yeah. Like have realistic expectations and set yourself up for success. And mentally prepared. It's not going to be easy.
Go to learn
and have fun.
Yeah. Go to learn and have fun. I mean, that's just it. You're coming out for the first time. It's going to be intimidating sometimes. Just overcome those with just a positive attitude and the attitude of I'm going to learn something every day, and I promise you will.
And cherish the adventure. Yeah. I mean, I think that I know our first out-of-state trip was like so exciting, so overwhelming, but at the same point, it was like every step and seeing a new view, anything like that. It was just that whole adventure was really cool. So,
what's your next?
So next question comes from John Jones.
The fighter,
probably for sure. My main issue is holding my mud together at the time of the shot. I've sent a few arrows sailing over their back. Any tips on holding your composure? I think
shot process. Yeah, right. I think it's all shot process. A lot of it's done in practice. I think if you can check those boxes off, and I talk about this in our seminar, calling seminar that we do, as far as getting that everything in practice that you can. So getting your grip, that's just a practice thing. Getting your anchor point when you draw, that's going to be a practice thing. Getting your feet, clear out all the stuff for your feet. Everything's already checked off the box, so that's not something that's going to get you hyped up. And then deep breaths. Trevor talks about that a lot.
Exactly. Breathing is huge. If there's a place on your bow that you're looking at and you need to like reiterate, and maybe if you make a
chart or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just something to steady, breathe, aim, make the shot, don't force the shot, type of thing. Go through that process. And if you're shaking, and don't shoot. Like if the pin is not where it needs to be, do not let that arrow go. If you draw your bow back, you do not have to fire. I think a lot of times like elk's coming in, I gotta shoot, and they take a bad shot, bad angle, brush in the way. Like calm yourself down, let it develop. Shoot the shot when you have the opportunity.
Take a good shot. Okay, Caden Fry, just another quick question. Is there any ways that you guys could provide a field dressing video on the animal, blah, 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 it would be super beneficial. We have done this, and I'm gonna do more of this this coming year. We're gonna do a whole breakdown again, but if you go through our video library, we've done, I think we've covered.
Yeah, there's a playlist,
most everything.
I'm pretty sure that actually has those exact videos. I know in particular, after the Land of the Free one, if you look on those videos, at the very end of that, we did a gutless method, and we did literally step by step. We also did a video back in 2016 that was how to debone. Did that, and then I know too in Land of the Free 3 with Warb, when he kills his bull from the hunting public, we did another breakdown on the gutless method and just the whole process of it. So
those videos are out there. Just do a little searching and type in some keywords, and you can probably find them. So and we'll be doing more too. How do y'all keep everything charged? Cameras, phones, lights, everything.
So when we're out in the field for a multi-day deal, it's just like an anchor or a RAV power pack or a USB power, like a 20,000 milliamps, a big one. Those all can charge camera batteries, phones, somewhere devices, anything like that. When we're back at camp, we've either got a generator. I've got a inverter in my truck with solar and a battery, so we can hook in there. The other one too. Is just a little plug-in 12-volt inverter in your truck is a good thing.
It's a good thing to have.
Driving between locations, all that.
That was from Bailey Baker too. I appreciate that, buddy. I think one of my last ones. I think I have two more. Great videos. This is from Dale Daniel. Great videos. How often do you guys need a Sawyer squeeze filters? And after you use it, how do you store it for weeks and months?
Oh, that's a good question.
I thought it was a good question.
I seem to go through one about every other year with a lot of use.
I honestly, every year probably, they're just super cheap.
Yeah, like
they're
$30.
Walmart, they're pretty cheap, and your water's the most important thing. So, and two, they get kind of clogged up after, you know how they do, kind of, they're not as...
Yeah, they make this syringe that comes with it so you can back flush that. Every year, definitely at the end of the season, if I haven't back flushed it, I'll just take it in the sink, back flush it, tap that thing on the hard sink, keep running water through it, and you'll see, like, it's amazing what you'll see come out the back of that thing. And store it dry. And the same thing in cold weather. After you're done, make sure to get all the water that you can out of there, because you could have that thing freeze and maybe cause damage to the filter that you don't know. So
Sweet, good info. Last but not least, this came in on Facebook actually. Zachary Purcell. Does anyone else agree that Elk Week is way better than Shark Week? Love all your content, guys. Thank you so much for the helpful tips. Was happy to meet Trent and Cody at G5 seminar last week. So good to meet you too, bud. Yeah, we're having a blast doing this, and it's been a lot of fun for us.
it's cool. I mean, this uncut side of it, I mean, really, that gave fire to us when we did Land of the Free originally, so it's fun to kind of reinvigorate that. I got one more here from Raymond McPherson. Got a question about meat and hanging it in the backwoods. At what temp does the meat start to spoil? We've always tried to get it skinned and in a cold locker immediately. It's a good question. Meat care, having quality game bags is key for that. Just keeping any of the insects, fly blow, anything that off the meat. But once you get it, the initial period is that first 12 to 24 hours.
Get that crust on it, get that, so it's getting that temperature to just start the negative drop, right? So after it's on the hide, after it's on that animal, just starting that temperature drop is very important.
Yeah, so the key when you're hanging meat, if you're gonna have it for multiple days in the backcountry, we've had it where highs are in the 70s and had meat hanging for 5, 6, 7 days. The key is being in the shade. If you can get it down by a creek where that air temperature typically is 5 to 10 degrees cooler, and somewhere where there's a breeze on it, where you can, it's just a constant airflow. And that, once you get that outside crust, you're good to go.
And you can hang it, I mean, it can get 75 degrees, and it's that temperature flux, it's fine for it to kind of go up and down. And yes, getting it to a cooler as fast as possible is key, but it doesn't, it's not gonna just spoil overnight.
Yeah, the key is getting it taken care of at the time of the kill,
yes,
and as fast as you can there.
And good game bags.
Getting that hide off, and so.
Sweet. Well, Strand just called. I was gonna have him say something on here, but he hung up both times.
Dang it.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching these, and we're gonna keep putting them out. Cody, what do we
Elk
have?
Week tomorrow, hands down. This is where, if you're a filmmaker, the opportunity of Fan Friday during Elk Week next year, if you want to submit a film to us, you can click the link in the description, check out all that. But we want to give back the opportunity and some airtime to people out there showing the grind, doing the elk thing. But this week we have 20 bulls, 20 minutes, absolutely insane. It's just kind of one of those.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be a pump up hype. Let's go kill some bulls. Giveaways. Oh,
The new, I'm not pointing it at you.
Yeah.
The new, born and raised, pack gun. It's a small 9mm, holds 12 rounds. This is our new pistol that we just came out with.
it's a 6 hour P365.
6 hour, yep, with a safety integrated on it. It's a super, super awesome. I carried it pretty much all bear season this year. I'll be carrying it actually this elk season. All of this probably will be. Awesome gun. Anyway, it's going to somebody.
And we have a Born and Raised Callco package in tomorrow's giveaway. So you're gonna get a bomb bugle tube, all 7 of our arc frame reeds, and a sound bite, and our new call pouch.
That's a pretty good
yeah,
giveaway.
actually, too, if you guys, we just added these to the website, call pouch. You can clip it, you can put it on your strap, opens up, it's got ample storage for mouth calls, anything else, wind checker like that. Pretty cool little accessory. So, shameless plug, right?
That was awesome. I love it. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Appreciate it.